Hello and welcome to Tech Talks. I'm your host Brian, and today I'm joined by Mr. O'Connell. Today on Tech Talks, we'll be answering some of your common questions about guidance. So first question I have today is, where could I find you in both buildings?
Oh, that's a really good question. We're actually only housed in the main building. We are right across on the second floor, right across from TV Media. So most of the time we are in there. If you find that your guidance counselor is not there, we have counterparts who are social workers that work with us, so they might be there. And then if you see that our door is closed, all of us have our email address posted. It's really easy to email us. We always have that on our phones and things like that. And then there's also QR codes all over guidance where you can find us using those as well.
Second question for today. How do I know who my guidance teacher is?
That's a really good question. The guidance counselors are broken up by last name. So every grade's a little bit different. So what I would do is, if you're not sure who your guidance counselor is, simply walk into guidance. We'll talk to pretty much anybody and we can find out for you who your guidance counselor is. The other thing is, if you don't feel like comfortable and you're like, I kind of want to know before I walk in, like I said before, there's a QR code. If you click the QR code, there's something on there that says contact the counselors, and in there is the breakdown of last name depending on the grade.
To be honest, I was actually kind of lost recently, like 2 days ago, because I was wondering who's my guidance counselor, because I was talking to one of my friends about it.
Yeah.
And I only found out when I was checking my progress report. That's when I actually finally found out.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is you can look on your progress report and it's on there. But I just want everybody to know who's listening, we will help anybody. So even if you come in and like Miss Smith is your guidance counselor, but I'm sitting at my desk, just come in and say hi and like, hey, can you help me out? And if there's something I can do, if it's easy as like printing a new schedule or anything like that, we're all really, really helpful. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable when you come into guidance. So don't get hung up so much on who my guidance counselor is. Just make sure you come in and get the help that you need.
What are some things that we should know about guidance?
A lot of times people think when they get called to guidance, like they're in trouble or something, and that's like literally never the case. Like most of the time, we're trying to prevent anything from happening. Sometimes we hear from a teacher that maybe you're struggling in a class and we want to kind of give you some supports in that area. Sometimes you just need a break and you want that. We also deal with career development. So if you decide you want to go into the trade, we can help out with resumes and all that type of stuff. We also do a lot with college. If you decide that you want to go into college, we don't push anything though. Like we're not like, oh, you should definitely go to college. This is a vocational school. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable in where you're going. There's a lot of different resources and guidance, and you know what I mean? You want to make sure that you come up and figure out, what best suits you.
That's good to know. So, third question for today. What should some students know about picking their shops and why their grades should matter about that?
That's a really good question. We try and stress this a lot with the freshmen, but I think sometimes it gets lost. Your first 2 quarters, we look at, from freshman year, we look at your grades, attendance, and discipline. And we look at grades, not only just your academic classes, but we look at all of your exploratory grades too. So even if there's a shop that you don't quote unquote like, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the work in that shop, because it can penalize you going forward when you're doing shop selection. So what happens is, of those categories, you get a score, and that score places you on a list. This is what people don't always realize. We don't pick your shops in guidance. You tell us which ones you would like. So say if you came into school most of the time, and if you were absent, you got an excused absence, because that doesn't count against you. You got, good grades, you didn't get into any trouble, you did well in your exploratory, you'd probably be pretty high on the list. The score goes from 0 to 100, okay? If you're number, like, say, 5 on the list, you got like a 98, because, you came in, you did what you needed to do, all that stuff. You would get your first choice of shops. The reason why is because there's only 4 people above you. There's no way a shop would be filled. Now, let's look at the reverse. You missed some school, and you didn't get those days excused. You didn't do super well academically. You got D's, C's, Not that a C is bad, but it can count against you. And then you end up in the middle of the list. So say if there's 300 students, you're number 150 on the list. Say if you really, really want an auto tech, auto tech's my first choice. Well, if 18 kids above you want auto tech, that closes the shop. And then you're going to have to get your second choice. And if that's closed, then you get your third choice. So it's never, guidance didn't give you what you wanted. You were not high enough on the list based on those parameters to get what you wanted.
I actually know a few people that are struggling because what shop could I get as? Like, pretend someone wanted health tech, right?
Right, health tech's super popular, yep.
But yeah, since it's popular, their grades really do matter.
Of course.
The health tech teacher said also while I was going through rotation, he said if you want his shop, your grades have to be around a B or an A average.
Sure.
Since it's such a popular shop. But that leads on to our next question. What should students do if they don't get the shop they want?
That's a really good question. So what happens is freshman year, now it's after second quarter, you get placed in your shop. We usually make you stay in your shop for about a quarter because even if it's not your first, second, or third choice, we want you to get a feel of what it's like to be in the shop. So you stay in that shop for a quarter, and then we open up what's called the wait list. Now, here's the thing about the wait list that people don't always know. They think if they sign up for a new shop, they automatically get to go into that shop. That's not really how it works. Remember how I told you, like, if the shop was filled, then it would go to the next one? Well, the same thing happens with the wait list. If you really want health tech, say. Health tech, we have 2 teachers, so we can have 36 students in health tech, okay? If you want to be in health tech, we look at the score that you got from the first time. So say if you got a 75, we put your name and then the 75, and you get, and if you fill out the wait list, then you get placed on a wait list for health tech. It doesn't mean you automatically get in. It means if you're number 1 on the wait list when a spot opens up, so say if a student leaves and goes to like English or classical or has to move away, that might open a spot. Or if a student decides they would like to go into a different shop, they go on a wait list somewhere else, that might open the spot up for you, and then we would fill that spot. That's how it works. It's not just like you fill out a wait list application, you get to automatically move in. We've been trying to automate all these things and make them computerized. So again, and I keep saying it, but the QR code in guidance has the 10th grade waitlist form in there, so you would fill that out. You don't get a call unless a spot opens up. So it doesn't really help you to keep coming to guidance and asking me, I didn't get to switch it. It doesn't really work that way. It kind of doesn't happen until like a spot opens up for you.
That's also really good to know.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, just because you heard somebody moved out of a shop doesn't mean you automatically get the spot either, because there could be other people above you on the wait list. And again, that's all based on the score you got from your first 2 quarters of freshman year.
Some people need to know that they can't fool around. If they really want a shop, such like health tech,
sure,
something that's really hard to get into, you have to keep consistent grades. You can't just fool around 1 quarter and get maybe like a C or a D. I mean, a C could be a pass, possibly, but
sure. And every year's a little bit different. Some years electrical is the most popular. Some years, and it's always random. You know what I mean? It's always really, really random. Some years, like last year during COVID, the computer shops were really popular because I think they were really easy to translate on computer because we were all at home. So those filled up really quickly. Where in some years they don't fill up as quickly. So it always just depends on the year. The other thing I want to say is, if you have a shop that you want first, make sure you put it number 1 on the list. There's no way to like try and finagle. Some students think, oh, I'm going to put my first choice second because I don't think I'll get my first choice. It doesn't really work that way. It just works like once a shop is filled, we move to the second one. So make sure you really put in your top choice is your top choice.
I'm glad personally. To tell a story, when I was obviously in quarantine, since I'm a freshman last year, I was really stressed out because my grades weren't the best. Because I was like a C and a B average, and only one class I had an A in. And I was stressed because obviously if I don't have good grades, I don't think I'd get the shop that I want. But shockingly, I was really shocked, but I actually got the shop I want, and that's how I'm here now. But grades do really matter. I was lucky that I was able to get my shop, but having a C, maybe D average probably won't really get you the shop that you want.
I mean, it all depends. You may want a shop that's not as popular that year. with people, and you might get the shop that you want. Some people like get a shop and because it has an opening, like so. The good thing to think about is that you came to Lynn Tech because you wanted options. We say this all the time. You wanted the vocational option, and you wanted the college option. And when you leave here, you can have both things. And the way that you do that is to excel in your shop, but also excel academically. Don't put yourself in a situation where you can only have one or the other, right? Think about it that way. You can leave here, you can have these skills in health tech like you had talked about, or TV media, and then decide to go to college and do something completely different, but have this to fall back on at all times. So make sure, if you are new to Lynn Tech or you're a sophomore, that you're consistently staying up with your grades, getting help, going to the career center after school, going to the learning center after school for additional help, which is right next to guidance. There's teachers in there that can help you out. Stay after with a teacher. If they know that you're trying, they're really going to go the extra mile for you as well. Teachers have night backs that they have to stay, so make sure you're utilizing those. If you're not so good in math, make sure you go talk to the teacher. Ask for the extra help and support. Those things go a long way with the teacher. They know that you're putting in the effort. Sometimes if you just let the grade go lower and lower, you don't talk to the teacher about it, they think you just don't care about it. And they're like, all right, well, you didn't come by and ask me for any help, so maybe you're just not doing it because you just don't want to do it. And sometimes it could be that you're nervous and you don't understand it, but don't let it get to that point. Make sure you talk to your teachers early, let them know that you're struggling in an area and that you could use some help. If you feel like you need to be in guidance, there's some social emotional issues that you're going through, there's some stuff at home, we absolutely want you to come. We want you to be there. But if you're just going there to skip class, we're going to know pretty quickly that you're that type of student who comes through all the time, and we'll put an end to that. And I don't want you to think that we would tell everybody no guidance for anyone. We would never do that, but we just want to make sure that, yeah, you're right. Don't abuse it, right? We're an open, welcoming place. We want you to come if you need the help, and we don't want you to just come there because you really don't want to sit in history class.
One of the things I was going to say that you said, if you're feeling sad, like something happened in your house,
yeah,
family problems, maybe a pet died, something that's bothering you, you can go to guidance, obviously.
100%, yep.
So if you're feeling sad, you're just not in the right mindset, you can go to guidance to get help.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people just need 5-10 minute breather. They need a quiet place just to calm down, and that's what we want to be for everybody. Our job and what we want to do is make sure that you feel happy and healthy so that you can be successful. And that is different for everybody. Everybody being happy and healthy is a little bit different for everybody. Some people, they're safe places in school, and some people, an anxiety place for them is being in school. So either way, we want to make sure that we're there for you, and make sure that you come and talk to us and let us know where you're at, and we can kind of point you in the right direction or give you a little bit of time so that you can get off into the classroom and be successful there.
All right. Is there any other comments that you want to say? Anything else that you think freshmen or the students would want to know?
Like I said, don't worry so much about who your guidance counselor is, but make sure you come through guidance if you need anything, and we will absolutely point you in the right direction. Make sure you're talking to the right person. And just because you're a guidance counselor, we find out who they are, is not in the guidance suite, because we are walking around the building a lot doing other stuff. Make sure that you just talk to somebody and let them know, and we can always text one of the other guidance counselors or help you ourselves. So guidance is a welcoming place. Make sure you come in.
Thank you so much for listening to Tech Talks. I'm your host, Brian. Before we leave, please make sure that you follow our Instagram page and subscribe to our YouTube channel at LVTI TV Media.